Yo, welcome to another reading. I'm going to call this one Love Better. Now, I'm being careful with this reading because I hope that you take it as inspiration and not me telling you what to do. But this was inspired by we're talking about love in terms of romance here, so kind of connected to the love readings. But this is just some inspiration on possibly how you could love better. As always, inspired by spirit. So, kind of maybe some love tips if you like. But yeah, that's the general vibe. I hope that made sense. As always, pile number one, pile number two, and pile number three. Feel free to pause the video and we'll start off with pile number ones. Okay, pile number one's loving better. Okay, I'm gonna have to almost leave that there in terms of like the proportions. I love what's going on here though. Kind of got an abstract figure. Slightly even a little bit Picasso-ish. In terms of the style. A little bit. Because everything's a little bit off-center. I feel this could be masculine or feminine energy. You know, I don't always say that, or it doesn't always show that. Get on that vibe. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number ones. To be quite honest with you, I'm getting, I don't know where this is coming from, but let's just center it a little bit. I'm getting Marilyn Manson vibes. And then if it's not, if it's the feminine energy, whatever the feminine version of Marilyn Manson would be, you know, almost like emo. I can only think of the woman from Evanescence. I'm sure there's a million other kind of characters, references. But yeah, I'm getting like Marilyn Manson vibes. And I'm not quite sure if Spirit is saying like lean into this or come out of it. So I don't know. I feel part number ones, you're gonna have to obviously use your own discernment and intuition here. Like, do you give off this vibe at all? And if the answer is no, you might need to lean into it a little bit. Maybe watch an interview of Marilyn Manson, or, you know, some form of like emo band. And then if you are like this, if you kind of see yourself like, "Oh, yeah, I do have a little bit of that in me," maybe a way that you could love better is by being, a little bit of the opposite of this. I think that's pretty self-evident, like, in terms of how that would look. I'd imagine, well, I'm not saying that this kind of character, this emo character, doesn't love deeply, because when you listen to a lot of emo music, I'm not really an expert in this area, but I remember I used to listen to the occasional track when I was younger, um, like emo, like, I was never really into like Slipknot or anything like that. More kind of like emo rock or just rock. I used to quite like Linkin Park. Um, Trying to think of others. Yeah, it don't really count as emo. I thought Limp Bizkit was pretty dope. Um, there was a band I used to quite like called Incubus, which is full circle now because all this stuff that I'm doing now in spirituality plays on the energies of incubus and succubus and light and dark energy. So that's ironic. I didn't even know what that meant back then. But yeah, like, so I'm no expert, but I would assume if it's anything like Linkin Park and music like that, a lot of that emo music, i.e. emotional music, comes from a place of pain and heartbreak. So, it's almost like the first stage of alchemy. Emo music is like the first stage of alchemy, is that you feel it. You're not pushing those emotions under the rug. So that emotion, that projecting of emotion is very necessary. And then once you've made that clear, once you've verbalized how you actually feel, the pain that you actually feel, then you can understand it. Once you understand it, then you can start to alchemize it. You can start to use it. And then when you start to use it, you can convert that into essentially higher vibrational creativity. And then once you've alchemized that energy into something that's higher vibrational, it almost becomes unrecognizable from what it once was, which was pain. And I think that's what the best artists are able to do, and they can almost tell that story it doesn't always have to be, I'm not really a fan of like airy fairy type music or even airy fairy type people. I realized that quite early on. I really don't like kind of any guru who just talks about being positive all the time. Like, they're the last types of people that I would want beside me when shit goes down. And trust me, in life, shit always goes down in one way or another. But I really wouldn't want that kind of person next to me. Anyways, we kind of just highlighted that whole process there, pile number ones, and I hope that you got something from it. I feel like there is a sense here of embracing an energy, though. You can maybe love better through embracing it. You don't have to stay in the emotional energy, but at least embracing it. That could maybe be a bit of all around advice. So yeah, part one, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, part number 2's To Love Better. Gonna leave that there actually. Just check we're in the center. I think this is kind of sexy. So again, it's definitely more on the feminine energy, this reading. But it goes for both my males and females watching. Because the message is quite simple. I think it's embracing your sexiness. There's something here that's almost playing on light, and I'm seeing light and dark shadows. It's quite an interesting reference that's coming to me. There's an artist called I think it's Caravaggio. You might want to look into that. Don't ask me how you spell it, Paltus. But there's an artist called Caravaggio, and they say he was like the master of using light. And I remember even like as a young creative looking at his work and realizing he almost uses black and white. The contrast is so hard in terms of he doesn't literally use just black and white, by the way, but I mean, like, as an artist you can see that he's gone from the complete scale of dark and light in the drawing. And that's important because in reality that type of light is only really expressed through spotlight. When you go to the theatre, you rarely even see that in real life, where the light is so directly light and dark. You could maybe argue again, like maybe a street lamp in the night gives that, or maybe something candlelit. But it's very rare that you get that type of light, that contrast of light in real life. But the paintings are beautiful. There's maybe something here. I know it's sounding a bit poetic. As my mum would actually say, this is so arty-farty. There's like poetry going on here, but I feel like part number 2 is this is going to inspire you. We're talking about here, like, I'm almost thinking like, let's say if you was in a relationship, it would be almost like photography, like I'm not gonna put anything explicit out there or anything that's not for you. Like, because I can imagine even a geezer watching this. Like, if I was watching this, I'd be like, that's not really my cup of tea. Like, taking photos of myself that look um, sexy, like purposefully. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I definitely, I've got some of that Leo energy in me. I'll definitely take a selfie of myself after I've worked out, but I would never treat it really like as art, And I think that's what spirit is trying to inspire in you, is that try and embrace that more creatively yourself as a piece of art. It's almost like in absolute conflict to um, the idea of making a person as an object. I know women obviously fight with that more, objectifying a woman, but it doesn't matter what gender you are watching this. It's almost like positively actually objectify yourself. Do you know what I mean? That's the message. I know it don't really merge with what's going on in the current times, but like the message that's coming through here is like, actually, no, do kind of objectify yourself as a piece of art. Because I don't know, I just feel like it's going to be welcomed really well for your partner, you know? There's something about spending the time, like taking a really nice photo. It's quite a unique reading, quite an awkward one to actually express out loud, but hey, thank God I've got the balls to do it. It's that's what it is, It's almost being sexy in how you're expressing yourself, sexy in the way that you're posing or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's very much that energy of Greek goddess, Greek god. It's very much that energy of sculpture. It's very much the energy of, like I said, treating yourself as an art piece. So my Leos out there are going to be over the moon. They're going to be rubbing their hands right now, like, oh yes, I'm ready for this, y'all. And then there's going to be some other people who are like, that sounds awkward and embarrassing, and I can definitely relate to that. But that's the energy, that's the message. Like, I guess on a more simple note, you might just want to like document more. Could be that. So when you're with your partner, like, just pull out the phone more and take a cherished moment. I feel like your partner might appreciate that, like just capturing more moments. And like I said, maybe just spend a little bit more time. I think some guys might really relate to this, at least I can. Like when a woman takes a photo and she spends ages like getting it right. And then like when I take it, like when I'm dating or in a relationship, I found that not all, but most of the time, women get really shocked how badly I take photos, like of them or myself or whatever. They get really shocked because I'm an architect. They expect me to be like really particular and professional and creative with my photos, and I really just couldn't give a fuck. It's because I'm not really caring about what I'm taking a photo of. It's just naturally in me, and I can think of a whole group of my friends who are exactly the same. It's just so like whatever that we don't spend time on it. Now, when I'm taking a photo on site, on a construction site, I'm much more patient and exact and precise because I understand what it's for. But just the flippant picture, I can be really nonchalant with that. So I can actually relate to this reading in a weird way. So yeah, like for my dudes watching this, it's that energy, like when your girl wants a photo or something, and you kind of just kind of whatever take the photo. Have some moments where you actually take the photo of that person without them even asking. I think that's gonna get you some killer brownie points. And like I said, if there are some dudes out there watching this, well, there definitely are, because I can see by the algorithms. Thank me later. That's some game for you. Just before they even ask, just I'm giving you some free game. Just say, oh man, you're looking cute. Let me take a photo of you quickly. 9 times out of 10, you just bag yourself some ding 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 10 out of 10 points. So keep them safe, and thank me, if not in person or in comments, then at least spiritually. Just say thanks Ed for that. Give me the nod. Give me the spiritual nod. Pile number 2 is that's your reading. If you enjoyed it, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, pile number 3's Love Better. It almost sounds like an album name. Love Better. A little bit sad, isn't it? Maybe my pal threes would get a little bit depressed or something like that. Trying to figure out what the moral of this is, though. I'm seeing something actually quite nice happening with like a back leg, so I'm gonna do it. Weren't really necessary, but kind of ruined it a little bit, actually, to be honest, didn't it? But no, that was happening, so I had to include it. This person was almost walking, so I had to include it. I think I understand what it is. I think pile number 3 is you might suffer, so it might just be for some of you, a general one. If you kind of suffer with depression, I know I'm not going to be a dick and just say, don't be depressed no more. I think if it's the masculine listening to this is definitely the feminine energy, but if it's the masculine energy, I'd say I'd probably have a sterner energy with the masculines and say if you're feeling depressed, well, yeah, check out my reading on anxiety. That will help you. It's for men and women, actually. But for men, I'd probably say accept the reason why you're depressed. And then 9 times out of 10, I think depression is just simply when shit isn't going your way. Now, I've definitely gone through times of being depressed. And every time I've got out of being depressed, it's because I've took back control in my life. I started winning. It's hard to be depressed and win. There is a little bit of depression even when you win sometimes, because there's been times in my life where I've won. You know, even when I've like made a certain amount of money, like done well in my career, I remember thinking my younger self would have just been like wowed by how much money I just got from that client, or just feed for that client. But the reason why you can feel depressed in those states is because you have endured so much, you've gone through so much. So I think the biggest almost lie that people who are successful don't admit is sometimes they suffer with depression or feeling unhappy because how much pain they've gone through, even though they've got a lot of money, it doesn't outweigh the pain they've gone through. But sometimes it does, right? That's the tricky thing. It's like sometimes that investment of pain is outweighed by, or at least equal to, the monetary gain. Sometimes it just feels like there's a shitload of pain and someone's throwing you pennies, and they're not pennies, but when you have endured so much pain, they feel like pennies, even though someone could be giving you thousands. So generally, pile number 3 is, for the masculines listening to this, it's not the fix for all, but generally it might be a tough pill to swallow. When you're feeling depressed, it's usually because you're not happy with something you're doing. So for me, I don't really often feel depressed. I get depressed sometimes when something major happens in my life that knocks me down. You know, like a death in the family or something like that can hit me. But generally, I don't really get that. I don't really get depressed, not anymore. And it's for the reason I told you. It's that I stay on my A game. I'm always doing things that make me proud of what I've achieved in my day. So the reason why you might not feel great, and I know it's, like I said, it's a tough pill to swallow. If you can take it on board, it might help you. Now, I'm sure there's other people out there with like imbalances and mental disorders. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but you know, like problems with their mental health and stuff. And I'm not shunning that. I'm sure that's a real thing and a real problem. You know, seek your medical advice if you're on that wave of things. But if you don't feel like you're there and you're just going through depression of any kind, just remember that, kind of healthy pride goes a long way. A little bit of healthy pride goes a long way. Like if you think about why you're depressed, it's usually because there's something you want that you can't get, or something that you want to do that you can't do. So instead of dwelling on it, just make one step forward to doing that thing or getting that thing, or at least something similar to. I feel like for some of you, it might be actually love that's making you depressed. Now, this is a way to love better. So the only way I can think of this is you maybe even got to let someone go. It's like the dropping of the rose. You got to let that love go because it's making you depressed. Or it could also be attached to the energy of you might have to let someone go. So you might be in a relationship, but there's maybe someone from the past that you actually have to completely let go. So it's a little trick that I do actually when I'm getting into a new relationship. This should be for the Patreon. So if you're not supporting on the Patreon, know that this is definitely a Patreon type video, but I guess it was just pile number 3 who's got the juice today. A little hack that I do is before I get into a serious relationship, I make sure that the person who I'm with has cleansed their previous energy. And I do that because when I get into a relationship, I make sure that my heart chakra is cleansed, that there's no other relationship in my heart chakra. And that sounds harsh to some people because it's like, oh, that person had a piece of your heart and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's probably still like a few memories, like that dusty book that you kind of blow. Yeah, there's probably a few of them as memories, but not in my heart, no. Like I've done the spiritual cleanse and the spiritual work to make sure that, if that relationship didn't work, if, they weren't the one, then the next one is going to be the one and they deserve 100% of what I can offer. And that is not going to be given if I'm still holding on to some ex. So I always do that because I've done it. And I know that I'm giving fully to this relationship. So I expect the best and the same from my partner. And if they give me some excuse along the lines of, oh, well, it's like the same excuse of, like if one of your partners has objects that was given to them by their ex. Man, I do not fuck with that at all. As soon as a girl starts telling me, oh no, that's insecure, you want me to get rid of the stuff that my ex gave me, I just lose near enough all respect as soon as I hear those words come out of someone's mouth. Because it shows me that they don't even understand the power of energy. And the whole reason why I'd be in a relationship with you is because you meant to, you the feminine. You meant to understand this shit better than me. I won't go out and work. And you can't even understand how hanging on to your ex's belongings is bad. Get the fuck out of here. That's just me, though. That's just me. That's just me. Part number 3. You either laughing with me, or you're like, oh shit, where's that unsubscribe button? But take note, when you actually think about it, it's kind of true though, isn't it? So when I have been in a relationship and I've flagged that up, They might give me some bullshit to start with, but they do agree. They do agree eventually. So just like a physical belonging, let's say if they gave you a necklace, just think about that for a second. I'm a grown man, so this is really not hard for me to get. But let's say a necklace that your ex gave you, and it's the same masculine or feminine. You know, if your missus gave you a bracelet, and God forbid, like, I know I had some exes who gave me a bracelet, and it actually had our names engraved into it, Z and P. You know, I'm trying to keep my name disclosed. Had our damn names engraved into it. Come on. I'm laughing so hard. So wait, you don't think that possibly that might have some energy attached to it? A bracelet that you put on your physical skin that you wear, even if it's in your cupboard, it don't matter. Something that you've worn, it's got your names engraved into it. I know not everyone's got names engraved into jewelry, but I mean, I've been there. Like, so come on now. That's surely gotta go. That's surely gotta go. And we do the same things with our heart. You know, there's a reason why people say that person's got a piece of my heart. I think every time we are in a relationship, that person takes a percentage up, and you have to give that the reformat. If you're into computers, you've got to reformat the computer every now and then. That's the complete wipe. Do you know what I mean? From blank. Because if you've got a little 5% missing here, a little 10% missing there, a little 15% missing there, a little 2% missing there, a little 8% missing there, you come into a new relationship and you're only offering whatever was left there, like 45% or whatever the math was. I wasn't counting. So I'm the sucker coming into the relationship. If I've done 100% cleanse, I'm clean for you. And they're coming in with 45% capacity. That's a jog on moment. That's what we say in London, jog on. You know, let alone what your personality is like, what you look like. Your heart capacity isn't even on match. You can't even, there's nothing here. So this obviously goes for both males and females, right? So if you're a man watching this, incorporate that energy. And then if you're a feminine watching this, listen to it as being on the receiving end, and then obviously incorporate it too, but from your side. So don't be tolerant. I feel like for some of the feminines watching this is maybe them admitting to themselves that they are hanging on to old energies and letting that go. But know that the other side of this is that you're obviously going to attract someone else who's willing to do that cleanse too, who's willing to look at you and go, oh, do you know what, that makes sense actually. Like, purifying myself for the next person, that actually makes sense. When you're dealing with someone who's a bit like clinging on, who do you think you are telling me to get rid of X, Y, and Z? You know, it's like I told you to get rid of your ex's gift. I didn't tell you to get rid of your coat, your hat that you bought for yourself, your apartment. You know, I didn't say that. I just said the gifts that were bought for you is carrying energy. That's not a good look. And you know, like, I was gonna say something. The first word that was gonna come out of my mouth was, I didn't tell you to get rid of your bed. Now, I wouldn't say that, that's too far. But actually, in reality, that kind of makes sense too. I'm not saying that you go into a new relationship and get a new bed, but I'd say strive for that. If you're going into a long term relationship with someone, maybe, if you've been fucking the shit out of someone else on that bed, you might want to think about creating a new space for that long term partner. They probably deserve that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it does make sense, you know? And you'll know this, although it might be a tough pill to swallow, pal freeze, you will know this, like, if you've ever put your apartment on Airbnb, or if you've ever stayed at Airbnbs, you understand that there is a bit of a feeling like, damn, like, man, someone else has been in my bed, let alone fucking in my bed. There's an energy there, obviously. I don't know. I think for some of you, I'm just singing to the choir, and then for maybe a few of you, there's a bit of a wake up call. So sorry if I'm a bit harsh and direct, but it's probably for your good, own good. It is with love. It always is with love. And yeah, I feel like this energy here, this character, for some of you who's letting something go, I feel like beauty is on the horizon. Better love is on the horizon after doing this. You need some form of cleanse and some form of letting go, and you will attract the same in return. Pile number 3 that's your reading. Hope you got something from it. If you did, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.